What's up, everybody? Here at Amelia Island 2026 Amelia Concours. I'm with Chip Foose, and we are standing in between two 1956 Continentals. One has been customized, one is stock. Chip and I are going to go through them and show you all of the changes.
Check it out. Pat and Linda Velasco had bought 4 of these Continentals to restore the one that they have here. I'm calling it Bubbles because it looks like a champagne color. And this one I'm calling Verde. And
because of the green, of course, for our non-bilingual fans out there. All 56s, of course, but tell us what you did to this one, because the genius of Chip Foose is he makes something look stock, but until he starts telling you where the changes are, you go, ah, that is anything but stock.
well, while they were building this car, the champagne car, at their shop, I went back there and Pat showed me that they had bought 4 Continentals to get the parts to restore one as nicely as they did this one. And in the back of his shop, he had the other 3 parked there. And 2 of them were in really bad shape. And this one was sitting there. And Pat says, hey, if I send you that, would you build a custom for Linda, his wife? And I said, of course. So they sent the car out to me. And Pat and I discussed the fact that we could take the top off it and make it a roadster. So we started with cutting the top off. But what I did is I looked at the car and I looked at all the little things that I would want to subtly change. Of course, we redid the chassis and we brought the car down. It's got an LS3 with a...
Wait. What? Ford Motor Company fans, don't rewind. You heard that correct. There's an LS swap under here.
But it is an LS. Of course, the core support has been changed. We added to that. And then we smoothed everything out and made it clean and really elegant.
And wait, leave this up for a second, because I want to point out the fact that Chip used both the matte finishes and the gloss finishes. The valve covers in particular, so beautiful. What was your thinking with the color choices?
The engine, all the suspension, all the drivetrain in the car is that lighter green color. You know, it's interesting because the dark green is gloss to here and then satin from that line all the way down underneath. But it almost looks like the same color.
Yeah.
The engine is a few shades lighter than the darker color. And the only difference between here and there is the gloss and the matte finish. And
that engine, of course, prepared by Blueprint, good friends over there with Chip, and they did a fantastic job on this drivetrain.
Yeah, and what this is the original air cleaner, but we narrowed it up so it would fit underneath the hood. And then Mike Curtis, I had him machine the top of the air cleaner so we could chrome it, because I wanted that's the only piece of chrome in here, just to give it some pizzazz. Now, when you drop the hood, of course, I got rid of the hood ornament. I got rid of the Nerf bars that are on the bumper itself. The bumpers are cut back 3/4 of an inch and then narrowed to fit that width and then pulled in also on the side here. The headlights are dropped a 1/2 inch and pulled back 5/8 of an inch, because when you look at the stock one, it almost looks like they're just straight out. I wanted to give it a little lead in, just like the hood has. Body line is also changed. If you look at the other car, you'll see that that line normally comes way out here. I wanted it to follow the wheel line.
And talk about the wheels, Chip, because you did a great job of creating these one-offs, but really has the DNA of the original wheels.
Exactly, using what the original wheel is. Of course, that's a 15-inch, and we've got the 18-inch on this car, and we use the Michelin tires, and Diamondback put the white stripe on the tire for us. Now, the lower rocker moldings, these are not stock. The original ones just apply on the surface. These wrap around the corners, and they're shaped to fit the wheel openings, the side rocker molding and the back. You can see they wrap around the corner. Now, the hood corner here is normally straight, and the hood corner is really long. When you open the hood, sometimes these cars will hit the front fenders when you open it, if it moves left or right, and you'll have little chips here. Well, by doing that little radius, it eliminates that possibility. Now, also the back of the door, we radius this mark. When you look at the stock one, it's got a sharp corner. We radius the deck lid as well. We narrowed up the rear bumper, shortened the rear bumper, pulled it in tight, and then if you look at the 2 spare tire covers, this one's 3 inches lower than that one. When you get rid of the top, that looks really big. So I pulled that down to minimize it. And
Now
then
go
when you
back
look,
for a second, hang on, Chip. You say you radius the bottom of the door there. Now, the idea behind that is aesthetically, all of those lines are going to be the same, give you the same feeling design.
well, everything's a little bit softer, including the door handles. If you look at the stock one, it's really square. Well, everything's a little bit softer on this car, including the headlights. So I wanted a door handle that was a little bit softer. And the fact that I have a 56 Ford F100 pickup, I already knew that shape. So this is a 53 to 56 F100. Now the interior, we used the back seat of a 64 Thunderbird with the wraparound seat, and then had to build all this to cover where that top actually goes originally. So wanted to look like this could actually come up and a convertible top would come out, but there is no top at all in this car.
Yeah, talk about this piece of molding here too. This is all one piece versus the two piece that's on the stock.
Well, this all the way around, we got rid of the wipers and then made that molding all the way around out of solid brass and chrome plated it. Now it's drill and tap on the bottom, so you have to get underneath and bolt it in. The other thing we did is we made the wheel well, or the steering wheel, a little bit smaller radius. You know, it's such a big wheel, and I wanted things to look a little more comfortable in this car. So they're all subtle things that resemble the original, but just slightly modified.
And talk again about the this spare hump here versus the stock, which, as you pointed out, is much higher. What did that entail, this metal working on the deck lid?
All the moldings and the Continental is still in the stock place. But if you take a center line from basically the night, that's a perfect radius around there on the stock one, which is about 3 inches taller. So if you notice, it's wider here than it is here. But what I did is I took and cut that piece out and then dropped it, cut it all the way out to the front. And I dropped this piece down to where I thought it looked decent. I wanted it to almost look like you've still got a little bit of that shape here, but not perfectly flat. Just pulled it down, tack welded it, put that piece in, cut the back of it off as well, and then hand formed this piece and welded it back in.
Unbelievable touches, and you get an idea of what the difference is between a stock 56 Continental and what Chip has done here on the custom. Now, Chip, I know that there's a different kind of mindset when you're approaching a stock vehicle and when you're making it your own there. Take us through the stock one and some of the changes that you made there.
This is all stock. Nothing's changed other than colors.
Well, there you go.
So
yeah, so tell us about that. Tell us about your mindset behind, I guess, restoring this vehicle.
Well, that was Pat and Linda Velasco at their shop with Steve Mankin and Sean, who did the interior. And, you know, there are a whole group of people that came together. I went back and helped them a little bit, just got them in the right direction so they could get the car done, because this is the unveiling here at this show this weekend.
Kind of felt like a SEMA crunch trying to get this car ready for Amelia Island.
If you'd have seen this car 9 weeks ago, you wouldn't have thought it would be here.
Well, take us around this car and point out some of your favorite design touches that came, again, from the factory in 1956.
Well, in 1956, what Ford Motor Company was doing is they separated the Lincoln brand and created what they called just Continental. Lincoln wasn't on this car, it was just a Continental. And what their intentions were is they wanted this to compete with a Rolls-Royce. But it was so expensive to build this car. They only did them for 2 years, but they lost money on every single car. This was more expensive than a Rolls-Royce. In 56, they sold, I believe it was 2,600 of these. But in 57, they only sold 466. And that was the demise of the Continental. They later brought it back as the Lincoln Continental, not this body, but brought the Lincoln brand back, and it still exists today.
And of course, that famous Lincoln Continental with the suicide doors and the drop top.
Yes.
When people hear Continental, that's probably the model that they think about most. But these right here, as you were saying, is really the genesis of the Continental.
This is the Continental, and it was such an expensive car to build, but that was literally the demise of the car. I'd like to thank Pat and Linda Velasco for bringing their 2 Continentals to the Amelia.
Chip, you're calling this color warm champagne. Take us through the process of creating it.
Well, at my shop, I have all of the colors from it's called Supermax, BASF. I have all the color chips. And Linda asked me, what would I do if I were painting this car? So I showed her several examples. I showed her a bunch of different colors, but she fell in love with the champagne color. I call it champagne because it's kind of a warm silver and it's got bubbles. So I call the car Bubbles.
And talk again about the interior color. It's so subtle. I know you say it's blue, but when you first look at it, there's so much going on in that color. You really have to concentrate on it to find that blue.
Well, just like I have the color chips from BASF and Glazeret, I also have from Moore and Giles all their leather samples. So I pulled the leather samples out with the paint colors, and I put together, I think, 3 or 4 different, combinations of things. And when I told her, I said, we could also do the warm champagne with a series of blue leathers. And that's what we've done in here. There's the center, the dark blue goes really well with the champagne color. And then the center, you can look at the inserts in the dark blue leather. The center is the same color, but solid in leather. And then the little color between is almost as if you mix those two 50-50, what would be the color between the two? And it's just a lighter blue.
So would this have been a combination that you could order from the factory?
Well, you were able to special order what you wanted at the factory. So I don't know if they would have had that in color samples, but if you'd have brought it to Ford Motor Company or Continental, they would have built this car for you with your colors that you wanted.
So cool.
It was all special order.
This is really what it's all about, having these two cars next to each other, the stock and the customized, so you can really see what changes Chip and his team did to the 56 Continental.
Our time apart feels like forever. I count the days till